What's up, everybody? UFC Azerbaijan, Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill is this weekend, and I'm here to break down the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. And as well, I have an announcement again. As of literal every week, it's gonna be like this. Join my Tapology group, and you have a chance to win free money. Woo! Woo! It is equal to the amount of US dollars as I have YouTube subscribers. So right now, I think it's 11 at the moment. Each week. So every week that we have a UFC event, if you compete, if you win, all you have to do is join our Tapology group. I'll have it linked down below how to join, and just make fight picks like I'm going to, and you have the potential to win my money, I guess. Anyways, we're going to start breaking down the card. We'll start with the early prelims. Oh, and we've got a doozy on our hands to start the card. We've got Muhammad Usman versus Hamdi Abdelwahab. Yeah, this is a great fight between two just lard individuals. One of them not being as much of a lard. One of them's definitely Kamaru Usman's brother, who looks like a roided up heavyweight. And one of these guys is a roided up heavyweight, and you wouldn't believe which one it is. It's the one who certainly does not look like it in the slightest. Hamdi Abdelwahab is the one who's on steroids, or has been at least, who's tested positive in the past. Man, it's a tough fight to call, honestly, because it's just two bad heavyweights. I'm going to go with Hamdi Abdelwahab by split decision. I think that the Azerbaijan judges are going to prefer Hamdi Abdelwahab. Not sure, but he's also the bigger fighter of the two. I will say Mo Usman being bigger or shorter with a longer reach is kind of concerning for Hamdi. He's not a good fighter in general, honestly. Hamdi has beaten all of the fights he's won. Oh my god, yeah. Like, this dude's... Mo Usman has only lost to Thomas Peterson and Mick Parkin in the UFC, I mean. Those are two solid losses you can be allowed, I guess. But, yeah, this is just one of those fights that I don't think anybody's going to be having fun that's watching it. Yeah, I'm going to pick Hamdi, but very, very tentatively. This isn't a confident pick. This is one of those that you stay away from it at all costs. It's just two bad heavyweights. Moving on to another division that the skill set of them is so... There's such a massive skill gap between the good ones and the bad ones. We're at flyweight again. We have the 125ers of Tagir Ulanbekov and Azat Maksum. I'm going to be picking Tagir Ulanbekov to win by... I'm going to give him a decision. I think he just straight up wins a decision in this fight. He's too long and lanky to really be dealt with at 125 from guys who don't fight the way a flyweight should, with combinations and striking, like, without acting like you're a heavyweight, you know? A lot of the flyweights will string together one-punch combinations, and you're like, oh, wow, that didn't knock out your opponent. You need to throw more strikes. You are a tiny little human being. You need to land more than one strike to knock out your opponent. Tagir's one of those guys who kind of falls into that trap of I'll land one thing at a time, and that's enough. But he typically, with his frame, because this dude is as big as Islam Makhachev at flyweight, literally, if you look at pictures beside each other, they are the same height, and this dude's a flyweight. So his height is a lie. 5'7" is not the truth. This dude's more like 5'9", 5'10". He's a big flyweight. I'm picking Tagir Limbekov to win. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The dude's with Team Makachev. He's a great fighter. Well, he's a good fighter. He doesn't fight the way that he should for the meta game of his weight class. Anyways, moving to a women's fight. My goodness. We're popping things off with two girls who lost to Melissa Mullins as their last loss. One of them lost via ground and pound, the other unanimous decision. We're going to be going with what the coin said. We'll just be picking a... you know what? Maybe we'll pick... do you get stoppages? You get submissions. Women's fights have been exciting. I'm going to pick submission. Round 2. Yeah, women's fights have been fun lately. It's kind of weird. Like I've been saying, they're in their like late 2000s era or mid 2000s era for where the men were. Like, you know, when we had Chuck Liddell out here, he's got one skill set, but he'll fucking use it. He'll blast people. Obviously, I'm joking. You know, when you watch the top level women's MMA, it is not good. It's boring. They try to poke and prod and pretend that they're skilled fighters, and it doesn't work. These girls like Alice Ardeline who come in and just try to fight you, that's what I'm here for. Girls who come to get the finish. Anyways, moving on to the next women's fight. This is a rematch, but we're gonna go with the coin flip. It comes up as Melissa Mullins. We're gonna be picking Melissa Mullins by round 2 stoppage. She's literally already done this to this girl in a different promotion, so just pick it again. Melissa Mullins seems to be a decent women's MMA fighter. I would pick her if the coin didn't. You know, she's decent. Not good, not great, decent. Anyways, moving on to the middleweight division, we've got Ismail Nurdiov versus Jun Young Park. I'm going to be picking the fucking Iron Turtle to just lay a beat down on Nurdiov. No, I'm just kidding. I think this will be a decent fight. I guess I could see Iron Turtle getting a submission. But I think I'm going to pick him by decision. I've got Iron Turtle by decision. He's a South Korean. You're allowed to pick South Koreans. They can be good fighters, unlike most other Asian countries, which is weird. Doesn't make sense why we can't have other good Asians. It's literally only South Koreans. Squid Games is really building these dudes up. Like, they have to make it through that to get to the UFC first, so I guess I get it. Like, they genuinely have real adversity that they have to overcome before even making it to the UFC. Like, they have to fight for their lives for this shit, so I get it. I've got Iron Turtle winning. I guess I could see an Ismail Nurdiov win, but this is one I'm a little more confident in. Moving on to Seok Young Ko versus Oban Elliott. Do I go with Oban Elliott? Or do I go with Seok Young Kun? Or Young Ko? I'll be picking Oban Elliott. He's been in the UFC, you know, for several fights now. Versus we have a guy just coming over from the Contender Series. Did win a decision in the Contender Series, which is typically a little more impressive sometimes. I don't know. Not always. Oban Elliott's record, you know, he's beaten guys that he should have beaten while being in the UFC. Now it's time to see if he can beat a new rising prospect coming up, like just into the UFC, entering prospect, if you will. I think Oban Elliott's going to get a... I want to say he gets a decision victory, but something's telling me he gets a stoppage, and something's telling me it'll be a late round stoppage. I've got Obin Laden by, overhand right, dropping bombs on him. Anyways, we'll move on to the featherweight division and the main card with Mohamed Naimov versus Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad he's a live underdog in this because he doesn't really get tired, it seems, or when he does, he fights pretty well while being tired. I'm just not sold on him yet. Like I said, I think it's his second fight now in the UFC. Yeah, he fought Lucas Alexander. Had a pretty tough fight with him. Ended up going and finishing him later. I don't know. Felipe Lima was his last loss. I think that Mohamed Naimov is going to get a decision victory. Maybe a submission, but I highly doubt that. I think that Naimov is just the more well-rounded fighter right now in their careers, and I think he has more ways of winning the fight at the moment. I think if you give Bogdan Grad maybe 2-3 more UFC fights, he would be able to beat a guy like Naimov. Moving on to Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Mota. We've got a near undefeated prospect fighting Nicholas Mota. Excuse my cat's running. I'm going to be picking Nazim Sadikov. I think that a dude who's capable of beating a Bonfim brother, probably a little better than Nicholas Mota. Although Nicholas Mota has had some moments in the UFC. Certainly had some good time. But we're in Azerbaijan. Nazim Sadikov is from Azerbaijan, apparently. I think he's going to want to put on a show. He is traveling from New York, but this kid's also traveling from Brazil, so it's not the shortest of trips for either one of them. I've got Nazim Sadikov winning by stoppage. I think he will come take down Mota, land some heavy ground and pound shots, and then just try to finish the fight from there. Ooh, we've got a absolute banger in the lightweight division. We've got Miktabek Oralbai versus Takif Musayev. I'm pretty sure Takif Musayev has never fought in the UFC. Yep, that is correct. Miktabek's last fight was against Rebecki, I think. Yeah, where he lost. It was a good fight, though. I mean, that was a fight of the year contender. He's taken a good bit of time off, too, even though he had been a little bit more active. I think that's a great thing for Miktabek. He's been probably skill building while also, recovering from that war that he had. I think Miktabek Oralbai is going to end up winning this fight by, I almost want to say by submission. I think his submission game is going to show itself here. I'm going to pick round 1 submission. Although I'm not sure. Maybe it is going to be a finish with a knockout. Miktabek does have some serious power in his hands. It's one of those, huh? Let's go with our earlier pick of submission. Maybe this Tafik kid hurts Miktabek. Miktabek gets him on a takedown, gets him down, submits him. Moving to Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. This is certainly an interesting fight, and people aren't giving Kuniev the amount of credit he deserves for this, or the amount of credit he deserves for his fighting style in general. I do think he will lose, but he is a much bigger threat than people are really giving him credit for. I do think Curtis Blades finishes him in the second round, maybe late, or maybe mid-third round, late second. But this is a guy who can give Curtis Blades some serious trouble. He has some power in his hands, and we know that that's been something that has given Curtis Blades some issues. But I think Curtis Blades is a much more skilled fighter. You know, he fights behind a jab pretty well. He does have good technique when he's standing up on the feet. And when he's coming off losses like this, he tends to implement his wrestling pretty hard in his next fight. And I just think that that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think he's going to implement the wrestling, use very technical striking, and I don't think Kuniyev's going to be able to keep up with him. I think he's the better athlete of the two, even though he is kind of ploddy and slow. I've got Curtis Blades winning by round 2 knockout. I think it's going to be a ground and pound finish, though. Let's move to the hardest fight of the card to predict. We've got Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. This fight is an absolute banger. I can't wait for this fight. These are the fights we've been waiting for, UFC. I don't know where this has been lately. I don't know why your matchmaking has been the way it is, but stuff like Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima, Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. These are the things we want to see. So please deliver on these things. You'll have paying customers, I promise. Anyways, Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes is just a fantastic fight. We've got Fiziev on a 3-fight losing streak, which is just, seeing some of the stuff this guy's done, you just can't ever imagine him on a 3-fight losing streak in the prime of his career. This dude's 32 years old, and we're mid a 3-fight losing streak. Hello, beautiful cat. What do you want? Yeah. Well, here's this for everyone who likes the cat cam. We've got Lemon today. And in every video so far, it feels like. Ignacio Bahamondes being 6'3" at lightweight is a problem for Fiziev. But seeing as how Ludovic Klein gave him some issues, I really meant to rewatch this before the fight even, or before my breakdown at least, and I never got the chance. So I'll probably end up catching it at work today. But Ignacio Bahamondes being 6'3", but losing to Ludovic Klein, that gives me some real hope for Fiziev. I think that Bahamondes is in the prime, not the prime of his career yet. He's still learning. I think this is one of those Fiziev upsets almost, you know. Maybe it's me trusting Rafael Fiziev too much, whereas I picked him, against Gaethje twice now, and he still has managed to lose those. But he looked really good in doing so. He's neck and neck with the best. He just can't quite get it done. That both times he's fought Justin Gaethje, you can argue that he won the fight. I've got Fiziev winning by decision. I think that he's the more technical fighter. I think he is going to have some issues with Bahamondes and his length at first. But I think once he gets past that and starts understanding the rhythm and range of the fight, now maybe Bahamondes mixes it up and gets some grappling in, that would throw a wrench in this whole thing, honestly. And that is what he did against Jalen Turner. I'm gonna trust Fiziev to get the job done here. Yeah, he was at least the one putting Gaethje in the inverted triangle when they were fighting. But this is a really hard fight to pick. I'm not super confident in this pick, but what a fight this is going to be. I love this fight on paper. It's going to be one of the better fights of the card. And skill for skill, it's just a hard fight to call. Such a good fight, too. We move to the main event of the evening. I honestly wish this was 5 rounds too, the Fiziev and Bahamundes fight. I feel like we should be getting 5-round co-mains again. Especially for the kind of level of fighter that these guys are. These guys are like right there in title contention. Sorry, my hair is just like fucking being, more of a more of a mess than it normally is. But yeah. We need 5-round co-main events back. This should be 5 rounds. This needs to be a 5-round fight. Anyways, like I said, moving on to Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree. This is our main event of the evening. Both men coming off of losses. I think one has lost Alex Pereira, but both having lost Alex Pereira in their last 2 fights-ish. And Khalil Rountree then losing, or Jamal Hill then losing to Yuri Prochazka in the fight after. But looking good throughout a good portion of the fight. Is it crazy that I think Jamal Hill wins this by like round 3 knockout? Perhaps a round 2 knockout even. These 2 fine young gentlemen are going to batter each other in Azerbaijan. But yeah, they will. And I'm picking Jamal Hill. I know that Khalil Rountree just had this real close performance with Pereira, and everyone's picking Khalil Rountree for that performance with Pereira. But I feel like that was Khalil Rountree's like masterful, his best performance ever, and he still barely did anything to Alex Pereira, who was extremely sick with the flu. Who, if you were watching the pre-fight stuff, you knew he was sick. I even picked him to have a tough fight with Khalil Rountree, of all people, who just struggled to finish Anthony Smith. Let that sink in. It's Anthony Smith. What would Jamal Hill do to Anthony Smith? Hello, Lemon. We're back again. Jamal Hill would harm Anthony Smith in very bad ways. And sure, Khalil Rountree did, but it was a very competitive fight. I've got Jamal Hill. These guys definitely don't look the same or anything. Nah. I've got Khalil Rountree losing by round 2 knockout. I think Jamal Hill's just going to be too skilled of a fighter. Why are you all sneezy, dude? I think Khalil Rountree is going to lose. If you would move out of the way, is going to lose by knockout. I think Jamal Hill's just too good at timing shots. He sees shots well. Just go back and rewatch some of the fights with guys like Yuri Prochazka. He was landing good, solid shots on Prochazka that, if these shots land on Khalil Rountree, we're not talking about the same level of toughness of human being. Yeah. Anyways, yes, obviously Khalil Rountree is a more skilled fighter. And if by chance he actually took it into account that he did do good against Alex Pereira and let that motivate him, that oh wow, I am at these level of these guys, that maybe I haven't thought I'm at their level my whole career. I doubt it. I've got Jamal Hill winning, and I think it's going to be not a fairly easy fight, but I don't think the competitiveness will be too high up there, to be honest with you. Dismiss all these Tapology notifications, and we'll go back over the card. Okay, so I guess we'll go from top to bottom. I've got Khalil Rountree losing. Damn it, I keep saying this dude's name. Maybe he's gonna win. Maybe that's your sign to pick him. I've got Jamal Hill winning by knockout, round 2. I've got Rafael Fiziev winning by decision. This time he's Brazilian. Curtis Blades by knockout, round 2. Oralbai by submission, round 1. Sadikov by KO, round 2. Naimov by decision. Oban Elliott by knockout. Junyoung Park by decision. Melissa Mullins by TKO. Alexieva by submission. Ulimbekov by decision. And then Abdel Wahab by majority split decision draw, I guess. Yeah. If you want to make some money, I would look to pair guys like, I mean, I know Tagir is almost a 3-1 favorite, but you want to pair Tagir, maybe some like over on significant strikes in maybe like the probably the Blades fight. I haven't looked on any like betting sites yet. Bet the over probably in the Fiziev Bahamundes fight, and then a finish for Khalil Rountree and Jamal Hill. One of those two dudes are probably going down. I mean, this is going to be a finish. I assume this is going to be a finish. Probably a finish. Yeah. Pretty confident in those picks. As I've said in the past, please join our Tapology. You don't have to, but I want you guys to make some money, have fun on the channel. It is this group right here, Hallman, We're Gonna Have a Day. If you join the link, like if you follow the link up here, tapology.com/groups/2048, if you go to that, it will give you an invitation, or it'll let you invite yourself to our group, and yeah. Then once you join, you just make fight picks the way I did. You can click here, edit your picks, and then you will be locked in, much like how MMA Joey 69 is. And if you come in first place, like Donner, which is one of my friends from Texas, last week, you'll win money. So he won $10 last week. And the week before, this Pac-Man 77 guy, who still hasn't claimed his winnings, he won, but literally he didn't post down here. Also, the other way to post your information to where you've won is in here. We go to the winner of the weekly group, and you can post in here. I don't know if I've locked it to where only I can reply, but I feel like you should be able to stay stuff in here. I'm going to check with one of my friends, and if there's any issues, contact me whatever way you can, either through YouTube comments or on here, and we'll get it all set up and fixed up. But anyways, that's the picks. I guess I can show you how we did last week. Our predictions on the Buckley-Usman card, we went 8 for 13. We got the Buckley pick wrong. What a performance by Kamaru Usman, though, honestly. The dude looked so impressive out there at, 400 years old. I was so impressed by his wrestling. I couldn't believe that he was able to accomplish the things he was able to. And Buckley, what a disappointing performance. You looked so good in round 5. If you could have done that the whole time, you would have won the fight. Get your shit together. I don't know why you weren't doing this way earlier in the fight if you were capable of doing so. Maybe Usman had just slowed him down to the point where you could, though. We had Rose Namajunas defeating Miranda Maverick in a somewhat solid women's MMA fight, I guess. Edmund Shabazian Hartman. He had Edmund Shabazian winning by decision. Cody Garbrandt, who we picked to win, did not win. Mansour Abdul Malik winning a weird Cody Brundage style of fight. Alonzo Minifield somehow won against Umar Sy. Adolfo Bellato with the Emmy award-winning performance, although it didn't win him the Emmy because he didn't win the fight. Cut him from the UFC. Now, after re-watching it, yeah, and being sober while re-watching, this dude full-on faked being knocked out and like, it's a great IQ move, but you shouldn't have done it the way you did. Like, when the up kick hit, you should have just flopped out immediately. But whatever to you, bro. Just, you need to be cut from the UFC. Michael Chiesa in the Unks matchup of the night, the who invited these two dudes to Atlanta night. Like, why are we letting these pasty individuals fight in Atlanta in front of my YNs? Speaking of YNs, we had Malcolm Wellmaker with a incredible walkout, incredible knockout. Almost called it perfectly as well, in the sense of like how he set it up. I did feel like a prophet though in my like watching of the fight, because I kept seeing him slam these kicks in, and I was like, dude, he's going to slam kicks in until Matinho starts checking, then he's going to throw a right hook and sleep this kid when he lands on the chin. And sure enough, he landed perfectly on the chin while Matinho was trying to check a kick, and he slept him. Jose Ochoa showing how real flyweight prospects should look. Throwing combinations, throwing mean intentions with every strike. This is how flyweight should look. This kid's going to be a problem for the division in the future. Although his takedown defense was bad, so he's going to have to fix that. Although he got up really quick, so maybe he doesn't need to fix it. Ricky Simone defeating Cameron Smotherman. I mean, this was just an easy fight to pick. We understood what was happening. Cameron Smotherman had just lost to a dude worse than him. He's not, or than Ricky Simon. He's not going to beat him on short notice, too. Phil Rowe beating Angelusa by knockout. It felt like we had called the fight so perfectly, and then Phil Rowe knocks out Angelusa's mouthpiece and then just grabs him by the face and just landing mean right hooks just like this. Fantastic shots. I mean, it was a vicious finish. It was visceral. Like, what a finish it was. And then we had Jamie Lynn Horth looking like an actual MMA fighter versus Vanessa Demopoulos, although she didn't finish her and she could have pretty easily. That was the picks for last week. Join Tapology. Join my group in Tapology. Win money. Subscribe to make that money count go up. Like the videos to do nothing other than like them. Thank you for helping me get to double digits now. I have double digit subscribers. I appreciate it, everyone. Goodbye. I will see you on the recap of this card and then on the breakdown for UFC 317. 316? 317. 317. Bye.